The Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by Chevy, the Florida Lottery, Best Parts, Best Prices, Bennett Auto Supply, Contender Boats, Performance Through Innovation, Navionics, We Start Where the Roads End, and Guy Harvey, artist, explorer, marine scientist, conservationist, and diver.
Listen, this Chevy Silverado is not happy. It's not happy because it's not doing anything, because it knows you have a to-do list with unchecked boxes, because it was built to constantly be on the prowl to get more done. Patience is not the Silverado's virtue. Doing is. The dependable, reliable Chevy Silverado.
Continuing the revolution. Faster, drier, even better built. Designed around Yamaha's latest technology outboards. Still built by the same craftsmen and anglers who launched the Bay Boat Revolution. Whether chasing world records, or time on the water with the family, or anything in between, there's a new Pathfinder model for you. Pathfinder, #1 for a reason, still.
For over 30 years, Guy Harvey has masterfully captured the wonder of marine wildlife in his artwork. Now he's sharing his inspiration with the Florida Lottery by creating 12 exclusive images for the Collector Series Guy Harvey Scratch-Off game, featuring a top prize of $50,000 and a second chance opportunity to fish with Guy Harvey himself. Celebrate the beauty and riches of Florida with Guy Harvey Scratch-Off games today. The Florida Lottery. Just imagine.
It's 200 streamlined horsepower of Yamaha forward thinking. The all-new F200 inline 4-stroke. Whether you're an offshore angler, pontoon cruiser, bay boater, or walleye hunter, the responsive and fuel-efficient F200 combines amazing power and versatility in one incredibly compact and lightweight package. The all-new F200. Legendary Yamaha reliability and the freedom of forward thinking.
Hey, welcome back to the Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report. I'm here at the IGFA with Ray Waddell from the Florida Youth Conservation Center Networks. And Ray, let's talk a little bit about the network and what it really means to kids.
Well, it's a very important initiative that the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission is doing. We are dedicated to getting kids back out into the outdoors doing traditional recreation and intermixing that conservation message with everything we do.
So tell me, how many camps, I know we've got a poster there of how many camps do we have with partnering camps?
Well, we have 204 partners in our network at this time. And through like the Guy Harvey donation that we received this year, we were able to get 8 of our partner sites equipped and ready to do saltwater fish camp with their dollars that they donated to us. So that's how the network works. We bring in donors and interested people, volunteers and sites that are dedicated to this same cause we are, and we bring them all together and we get more kids doing things that way.
Now, if you want to become more involved in one of the camps, say a guy like me, what can I do?
Well, there's a couple things you can do. You can donate your time. If you're a talented fisherman, you can decide to be a volunteer and get in there with the kids and teach them what you know. You can donate your resources. If you have a garage full of equipment that you don't use anymore, donate it to us and we will find a partner in your area that needs resources and we'll donate it to them and they'll get kids using it. Or if you don't have either of that, you can donate some money and we'll make sure kids benefit from that.
Now, Ray, if I were to want to go to the camp or any of these kids want to go to the camp, how do we find out more about it?
Well, we have a website. It's www.fyccn.com, and you can go on there and see a list of all the partners we have and the camps that they offer, the camps that we as an agency offer, so you can find all kind of information on there.
Well, we're proud to be a partner, and you know, it's really about the next generation of fishermen, hunters, outdoorsmen, and we're proud of the fact that you really are doing what's best for these kids, and thank you so much for being here at the IGFA, Ray.
Thanks for having us.
All right, Lauren, you got to take it from here.
Sure will, Rick. Thanks. Back here in the studio, it's Captain Jim's turn to take over. Now it's your turn to tell us about kids and fishing in the Central East.
Well, you know, with kids, it's more about having fun fishing, not necessarily the catching. So don't concentrate on the giant fish that you're going to want those kids to catch. Concentrate on just catching fish. That's what it's all about. Happy memories. The giant fish are going to come soon enough, so don't really worry about that. So pinfish, brim, catfish, and there's a bunch of other things that you can catch on cut shrimp or, you know, small pieces of squid. And you can use a small hook, and that's going to make a child's highlight reel if you let him catch a bunch of those things. Parents need to remember this and make sure that the catching is the priority when you're dealing with those younger kids. Don't make it hard for the kids to enjoy themselves. You know, being still and quiet at the same time is virtually impossible for a kid under the age of 7 years old. So you gotta remember that. It's all about fun and fishing together as a family. You want to throw some rocks, some shells, different things like that into the water if you're standing on the shoreline. Hey, if that makes the kid happy, let them do it. Anything that you can do to help them enjoy themselves. And like we were saying earlier at the new products bench with Dave Farrell, it's about getting the kids away from the water before they're ready to go, because you always want them to look forward to coming back. And you know, sometimes that happens if they're playing in the bait well. Just let them play in the bait well. Doesn't really matter. It's all about having fun, and as long as you're teaching those kids ethically how to treat those fish when they do catch them and release them, that's what it's all about. Now, I've got a real good inshore report, because right now speckled trout are pretty decent through my entire region. From Titusville down through Port St. John this week in particular, they're pretty good. There's a lot of small fish in that area. And you want to use skidder walk plugs in the morning if you guys are adults, but live finger mullet if you're taking a kid out, because he's going to have more fun with those live baits. You can transition over to some cut baits in the middle of the day, and you can actually catch some larger fish. Now the smaller fish are up to about 17 inches, and I also like to throw saltwater assassin sea shad. They seem to work really well when you put them on a 1/8 or 1/4 ounce hookup jig head. Now good color choices right now seem to be redfish, Houdini, Slammin' Chicken, and root beer in that area of the river. And I've got a photo here. This is Ryan Kwiatkowski, and this is a gigantic 51-inch Mosquito Lagoon redfish that he caught on a Rapala Skitterwalk topwater plug. Now, as big as that fish is, you can see that it's almost as big as the kid. But the one thing that I want to make mention of is that we love to pick the fish up and we love to show how big they are, but one thing that we also need to do is to make sure that we cradle the fish's belly, treat it like a baby. So this is a fantastic fish, but one of the things that we want to do as adults is to create good ethics, and one of those things is to cradle the fish like it's a baby and then put it back over. So try not to do this if you can. This fish was only picked up for a second. They said it swam off, looked great. That's fantastic, and that's what you really want. You want that fish to be out there for the next person to go catch. Offshore, grouper right now in my region is still pretty good. You want to check out the offshore wrecks and reefs. And live pogies and pinfish seem to be the best things to use on a knocker rig or a bottom rig right now. The best bite typically is about 160-foot mark out to about the 240-foot mark on most days. The guys that like to jig are using 12 to 24-ounce deep jigs, or some of the Williamson vertical speed jigs. They seem to be pretty good options right now, especially when the fish are real aggressive over that structure. The average grouper's running about 16 to 20 pounds, so there's some nice ones out there right now, and I have seen some fish up into the 30-pound range in the last 2 weeks. Cobia are the other species that I've got offshore this week, and you know, from Canaveral down to Sebastian, these fish are showing up because we've got a cooler push of water that came in from the St. Lucie area down from Mike Holliday's region. Those upwellings have pushed those fish up our way. You want to look for them around rays, and especially off the shoal areas around the Canaveral portion of the Central East region, and then inshore as you go farther north. That's where those fish seem to be holding. The 80-foot reefs also have some fish on them for the guys that are trying to catch some kingfish. They're getting cobia as well. And what they're doing is just slow trolling for the kingfish with live baits. That's how they're picking those cobia up. They're normally swimming up and picking up their flatlines. So live pogies, jumbo shrimp, if you get a pitch bait rigged on a 4/0 to 6/0 96-26 live bait hook, seem to be doing a pretty good job. Also, jigs tipped with pogie or squid are very effective for the cobia on most days. And our average fish is running about 15 to 35 pounds. But like always, we get some bigger ones, and some of those fish are running 50 pounds. And right now we're going to go to my hot spots, because the CCA that's in the Central East region is telling you that you need to go fish for sheephead near the dock pilings in the Grand Canal area, also in the Cocoa Beach Canal. You want to use live sand fleas or small crabs on a 1/0 VMC hook. And then offshore, like I was saying, the grouper in 160 to 240 feet of water. The reefs seem to be holding the fish best, so use live pinfish and live grunts or sardines on a standard bottom rig over those reefs.
Well, I tell you, Jim, I'm going to have to lift some weights if you want me to cradle those 50-pound babies. Okay?
Hold them like that if you have to.
Okay, now we're going to go off to the Panhandle where Captain Patty Panstanine is waiting. Pat, there are a lot of tournaments that cater to the kiddos, right?
Yeah, it's coming your way, Lauren. It's coming your way, I'm telling you.
It's
All
game
right,
on.
hey, I tell you what, we got quite a few tournaments and events specifically designed for kids up here in the Panhandle. Just last month over in Port St. Joe, they do an annual mid-May tournament, and it's always a huge success. It's all about the kids over there. Coming up in November, Harbor Docks host a take a kid fishing event. It's the first Sunday of November. They've been doing it for years and years, and it's all about getting as many kids on the water to experience fishing as possible. And they average about 400 kids a year, and it's a full-day event. The kids get a breakfast, a fishing trip on a Destin charter boat, a post-trip fish fry, and then they go home with a rod and reel. So it's a huge success, and it's been, I mean, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger every year. If you're interested in it, give Harbor Docks a call this, September or so, closer to the November time frame. But pretty much every saltwater rodeo style tournament in the Panhandle has categories designed for the kids to get them involved with fishing. And like as Jim was saying, for kids, it's all about the action. But take a fishery that where the bites are happening. And right now in our bays, the bluefish, the ladyfish, the hardtails, they're obliging, they're easy to catch, and they're designed just for the kids. You're going to go catch them. And in the Gulf, the red snappers are readily available. Just use tackle that's appropriate for the size of the angler, not so much for the size of the fish. And they're going to have a good time, and they get to take home some fish. And there's a picture there. It's young Cody the Crippler Garland. And there's a 27-pound snapper he caught last week. And young Cody there, he's got fishing and shotgunning figured out. I think bow hunting's next in his future, but what a pretty fish and what a nice catch that was.
And Pat, your other species is flounder?
Inshore, yeah, Jim. In St. Joe Bay, the flounder bite's doing really well. They're catching a lot of fish on the deeper channels between the flats in the middle of the day, and then they're catching them on the sand patches near the channels early in the morning and late in the evening. The best bites on a curly-tailed grub slowly bounce along the bottom or also on a live shrimp hooked on a jig head or on a short Carolina rig. And then at nighttime, the giggers are getting some really nice doormat flounders working the sand edges along the grass beds. And moving offshore, the blue water bite has turned on in a big way. The spur has been good. In fact, it's been real good. I mean, this past weekend, even a blind hog could catch a marlin, and they did. There's a good showing of white marlin, a few blue marlin, and plenty of dolphin and wahoos. The Bar South, which is a 48 Bribovich out of Destin, they had a big, fat 84-pound wahoo that they caught this past weekend.
I'll take one of those.
Yeah, I'll take it every day. Southwest of Destin, basically go southwest from Destin towards the spur, the dumping grounds, and beyond. You're going to find plenty of real pretty blue water, current rips, grass lines, and grassy areas holding fish. Troll lures, ballyhoos, or ballyhoo islander combinations at 6 to 8 knots. And this weekend is the Emerald Coast Blue Marlin Classic hosted out of Baytown in Sandestin. And the weather's looking really good for that. And I expect Friday possibly, but definitely Saturday evening, there's going to be some really nice fish weighed in at Baytown at the marina for the tournament.
And your other species is red snapper?
Yeah, finally, Jim, the red snapper bite is going on, and it's been very, very good. Live cigar minnows, herrings on a slip singer rig is a standard setup. Either use a sabiki rig to catch your bait on the incoming tide just outside the passes first thing in the morning, or if you want to save some time, there's the live bait guys. Like here in Destin, we've got Steve at Destin Live Bait. Call him on channel 80, and he can hook you up with some live cigar minnows and herrings. Fish natural bottom in 80 to 200 foot of water, or wrecks in 70-plus foot of water. The average snappers are running 6 to 10 pounds. Today we caught one on my skeeter boat that was pushing 19 pounds. And every day we've been catching a few black snappers, from 4 to 7 pounds.
Wow, that's a fantastic report, Pat. We appreciate that. I'm going to take your Blue Water Outriggers hotspots for the Panhandle region from here. Pat says you want to check out the early morning trout bite and redfish bite on the docks on the western side of Santa Rosa Sound. Fish live baits under a cork or soft plastics, and then offshore, check out Port St. Joe buoy line. The kings are on fire there, Pat says. Troll live cigar minnows or Rapala Magnum 20s to catch those big king mackerel.
Okay, guys, when we return, we're going to have the Costa Conservation Minute, and we'll check in with Captain Russell in the Northeast. Stick around.
The Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by Rapala. Catch the latest at Rapala.com. Reactor, the best built performance sports watch, period. StarTron, cures and prevents ethanol fuel problems. Strike Zone Fishing. Suffix, the world's most hardcore fishing line. And Yamaha, reliability starts here.
At highway speeds, things can get pretty windy. That's why the Chevrolet Cruze Eco has active aero grille shutters that close at higher speeds to improve aerodynamics. With an EPA estimated 42 miles per gallon highway, the Chevrolet Cruze Eco offers the best highway fuel economy of any gas engine in America. Always thinking of ways to give you more while using less. That's American ingenuity to find new roads.
For over 30 years, Guy Harvey has masterfully captured the wonder of marine wildlife in his artwork. Now he's sharing his inspiration with the Florida Lottery by creating 12 exclusive images for the Collector Series Guy Harvey Scratch-Off game, featuring a top prize of $50,000 and a second chance opportunity to fish with Guy Harvey himself. Celebrate the beauty and riches of Florida with Guy Harvey Scratch-Off games today. The Florida Lottery. Just imagine.
You already know about the La Jolla Resort in Isla Mirada, so let's talk about the La Jolla experience. With an on-site boat ramp, the Gulf of Mexico and the Atlantic is just minutes away. And when you return from fishing, there's barbecue pits to cook your catch while your family enjoys the pool or one of our new remodeled rooms. This historic resort, the La Jolla, is family-owned and operated and has a friendly staff ready to make your La Jolla experience a really great one.
You know there's more to it than luck. There's fishing the right bait, the water temperature, the wind, the season, and then there's the boat. We'll put it simply, the boat matters. To own a Contender is to own the best sport fishing boat on the market, period. Contender offers the most comprehensive model range with bigger, faster, and more fuel-efficient boats than the competition. There's only one choice for serious anglers. Contender Boats. Performance through innovation.
Chances are you spent a lot of time in the outdoors when you were growing up. Hours spent fishing, hunting, camping, hiking, or simply playing in the outdoors helped you get connected with nature. Sadly, today's children are disconnected from nature. They spend nearly 8 hours a day on their computers or watching TV while the number of kids hunting and fishing continues to decline. And that's why the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, together with the Wildlife Foundation of Florida, created the FYCCN, the Florida Youth Conservation Center Network, to encourage kids to participate in the outdoors. A statewide network of conservation centers, the FYCCN features wild outdoor centers offering deep woods experience that connects to near outdoor sites in the communities where kids live. You can help kids learn to love the outdoors and become stewards of our precious outdoor heritage. You can help us create the next generation that cares. Go to fyccn.org to learn more.
Next, we're going to stop into the Northeast region. Captain Russell Theron, there are plenty of great locations to take kids in the Northeast, isn't there?
There sure is, Lauren. How are you doing? And how are you doing, Jim?
Doing fantastic.
Florida has some great places to take kids fishing that are fun, safe, and they're beautiful, too. The reason Amelia Island State Park and the two Talbot Island State Parks are great places to take kids fishing is because of the Long Fishing Pier, which is the old A1A pier that crosses Nassau Sound. The surf fishing and camping at Little Talbot Island are great. The Saw Pit Boat Ramp is just at the south end of the old A1A bridge out on the north end of Big Talbot Island. Another great spot to take kids fishing is the Hannah State Parks, which is next to the United States Naval Station, Mayport. It's really got beautiful campgrounds, It's got freshwater lakes that has brim and bass in them, and also you got some great surf fishing there on the beach. Now I got a photo description of Zachary Watson fishing on with the ye old pirate, Captain Steve Hare. Now here's Zachary catching bull whiting in the St. Mary's Inlet. Captain Steve offers charters for people that are physically challenged and want to go fishing. Take it, Jim, to Navionic.
Well, Russell says that the Nassau Sound area is a really good area to fish, and you want to check out the areas where you can actually drive out onto the end of the south end of Amelia Island. So he's saying that this area down in here is all an area that you can drive down to and then all the way down to the tip. Now you need a four-wheel drive to do that. And then also if you don't have that ability, then right in here you've got two bridges. You've got this one and then you've got this one right down here that you can fish off of. These are designed specifically for people to go out and fish on. And the kids love to fish off of bridges because they can catch a whole bunch of different kinds of fish. You can catch bluefish, whiting. Captain Russell said the doormat state record flounder came from right here in the Nassau Sound. So these are areas that you can take kids, you can put cut bait out, and you can do a fantastic job with them, and it's easy access for all of the family to be there.
That's right, Jim. Did you know that the first time I fished off that bridge, my daddy took me there as a child at 6 years old. All right, moving inshore, I want to talk about some redfish. Captain Chris Herrera has had a hot hand. Now, he's fishing down in Palm Coast, and he said the redfish bite has been great from Palm Coast all the way up to Matanzas Inlet for the last couple of weeks. Now, Captain Chris has been experiencing the negative tides and the low tides caused by the west winds that has really pushed a lot of water off of the flats. This has caused redfish to bunch up, and that creates an opportunity for the fish to be very competitive. That's really good for the bite. And they're doing that on the edge of the water that's leading onto the flats along the ICW, which is the Intracoastal Waterway. Captain Chris has been catching redfish with plastic tail grubs on either an 1/8 ounce or a 1/4 ounce jig head. He's also using live bait like fingerling mullet and mud minnows for bullhead minnows. Or use a 1/4 ounce fresh blue crab or possibly a fresh cut ladyfish. Typical redfish are running anywhere from 3 to 8 pounds. Now, Captain Chris Herrera is also sending a great photo of Mark Cole. And Mark is fishing with Captain Chris, and their choice of bait was a cut ladyfish on a 3 ounce or 3/0 circle hook with a split shot. Now, they were casting downwind to keep plenty of room and plenty of distance between the redfish and the boat so they wouldn't spook the fish.
Thanks, that's
right,
awesome.
Jim,
now,
and
offshore, Russell, we need to go quickly because you got about 45 seconds left.
Offshore, we want to talk about the kingfish. They're showing up. There was a big kingfish caught at the pier, and Dave Workman said that they should be charging to beat, which the weather looks great this weekend. Some of the better areas is Ponte Vedra in South Matanzas Inlet in 27 to 40 feet. Kingfish are running anywhere from 15 to 25 pounds. Also, it has been insane. The sharks are all behind the shrimp boat. The shark fishing is crazy this time of year when the water temperature is hot. Now, you can use either live or dead bait behind the shrimp boat. And there's also some big sharks that are also being caught in the St. Mary's Inlet in front of the range tower. There's another way that's very popular in our area is surf fishing at night on the incoming tide with fresh cut bait on the bottom. The typical sharks are running anywhere from 30 to 80 pounds, Jim.
Oh, that's an awesome report. We love to hear what's going on in the Northeast region there, Russell. I'm going to take your hot spots from Strike Zone after we get done with your offshore report. High tides this weekend at sunrise and sunset. Target redfish along the ICW with spinnerbaits and topwater plugs. And then for the guys that are going offshore, sharks behind the shrimp boats. 30 to 40 feet of water is where you want to be, and you want to use cut bonita strips, or you can use some live baits.
Stick around, guys. When we return, we're going to tell you what's coming up next week.
For over 30 years, Guy Harvey has masterfully captured the wonder of marine wildlife in his artwork. Now he's sharing his inspiration with the Florida Lottery by creating 12 exclusive images for the Collector Series Guy Harvey Scratch-Off game, featuring a top prize of $50,000 and a second chance opportunity to fish with Guy Harvey himself. Celebrate the beauty and riches of Florida with Guy Harvey Scratch-Off games today. The Florida Lottery. Just imagine.
Want the power of a V8 with the highway fuel economy of a V6? Yes, sir. 40,000 more warranty miles than an F-150 work for you?
Sure does.
And you get 2 years of scheduled maintenance. Nice.
Copy that.
Sold.
Chevy Silverado. Right now, get 0% APR financing for 60 months, plus Chevy truck owners can trade up for an additional $2,500 total cash allowance, or Chevy truck owners can choose cash allowance and trade up to get a total value of $8,500.
Hi. I lost a big fish earlier today. Wasn't using suffix. It was about this big.
Look, slow down there, cowboy, okay? A fish in the lobster van, huh? You want your fish. Sorry, honey, that fish is gone.
Always use the best line, Suffix 832.
It's got the punch of a heavyweight and the pounds of a lightweight. Welcome to the main event featuring the new Yamaha 4-stroke F70, tipping the scales at up to 142 pounds lighter than its 4-stroke competitors. That's a class-leading power-to-weight ratio, a haymaker of a whole shot, surprising mid-range punch, incredible fuel economy, and industry-leading innovation, performance, and reliability. The Yamaha 4-stroke F70. Reliability starts here.
If you like fishing or the history of fishing, then I have a must-see place for you. The IGFA Fishing Hall of Fame and Museum in Dania Beach. What makes the IGFA so cool is that they have theaters where you can learn about the journey of fishing, galleries where the kids can see antique reels or catch a big one. The Hall of Fame room has over 140 beautiful fish mounts, and maybe in the E.K. Harry Library, you may see a live alligator. For more family fun, go to IGFA.org.
Next week, we're talking sea trout. Make sure to check us out next Thursday, June 27th. You can also catch repeats on Friday and Saturday. Just visit Sun Sports and your local listings for more details. We sure had a lot of fun here, but Rick, I think you had the most fun tonight.
You're absolutely right, Lauren. I certainly did. And with me is Laura Kramer from Fish Florida. Laura, tell us about these rod and reels that the kids are getting.
Fish Florida bought these rods and reels with money from the Sailfish license plate. So we're going to give away 100 of those tonight to the kids that arrive first to the show.
Man, everybody that showed up here, this is so awesome. That's really great. We want to thank everybody for coming out. Tony Finn from the Guy Harvey Ocean Foundation, we appreciate you. Tom Dolan from the Florida Lottery, and certainly Jeff Mackin from the IGFA. And more importantly, look at my man here, Alex. Alex, he is just like I feel, exactly like that. Me and Alex have got a date here in a couple minutes because that's what's gonna happen. Appreciate everything you do for kids every day.
Thank you.
And guys, thank you so much for tuning in and watching the Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report. We do it every week for you guys. And more importantly, don't forget, you gotta pass on the heritage of fishing and hunting in the outdoors to these little kids. Thank you guys for coming out.